majority of Western Cape bees fynbos bees, blue gum bees? What are they?
Yeah, they primarily live on fynbos and blue gum, because blue gum obviously being an alien vegetation, those are primarily what they're living on. The problem now is that we're looking at a global phenomenon that's happening. You know, they term it colony collapse disorder. They give it various names. They point at various things, saying to them it's a neonicotinoid that's affecting the bees, which is a systemic pesticide, nicotine-based, American foul brood, varroa mite. There's a whole bunch of issues. But what we'd have to take a look at is what's transpired basically over the last 10 years, is we've lost 900 trillion bees. And this is now becoming a global phenomenon. We're seeing the first stages of it with American foul brood here. We could end up with CCD in 3 years' time. We don't know. This is the thing, and this is where we look to government, and government is sort of shrugging its shoulders going, well, we don't know about this, so you guys have got to bring the information to us. Now, when you have 20 beekeepers in a room, you've got 20 different outlooks on beekeeping. And until we as beekeepers can come together and say, right, we've got one governing body that we answer to, and we look to for support, then we can start working together and saying, right, we can get this crisis under control, because we are the cause of the crisis in the first place. By bringing the honey in illegally through a SADC country and not having it irradiated is how it got you in the first place.
So I mean, for now it's sort of contained in the Western Cape. Developed, what are the chances of it spreading into other provinces and into countries up north?
At the moment, the buffer zone is about 65 kilometers. The furthest that a single colony on record has been able to move is 35 kilometers. They have considered to actually increase the buffer zone even more, but it's completely manageable. It's completely possible to keep it in the Western Cape, or to try work it out of the system. But again, human stupidity. If some backyard beekeeper packs up his hives and moves across the line, problem immediately. See, our biggest problem is not really your commercial beekeepers. They do try to follow a standard, and there's always, they communicate with each other. The problem is your backyard beekeeper. Don't know how to identify the disease, don't know what to do about it, and just end up leaving the hive there. Other bees rob it, and it spreads, and it just keeps spreading. So that's why Greg also said there's such a 65 people registered out of so many beekeepers, but the bulk of the beekeepers are backyard beekeepers, are hobbyists, and that's also where your problem lies. There's no one that helps them or tells them how to identify it, or no governing body. It should be a case of, you buy a hive, you have to register, and you get monitored from there. And that's a workable, something that you need to bring in experts from the States to educate the people, and because they've been stuck with the disease for almost 100 years now. From 1909 it broke out in America.
Talking about backyard beekeeping, Greg, what are some of the things the public can do, I guess just small things, to try and make a difference? I mean, obviously, as well as get involved in the Be Kind project. Right.
What we normally look at is we say to people, when you go and visit your nurseries and you plant in your garden, speak to the people that work there and say to them what are bee-friendly plants to plant and things like that. That's a definite help and stuff like this. When it comes to backyard beekeepers, I always say to them, you know, I've seen it far too many times where people attend a course for 2 days, they walk off there thinking that they're a beekeeper, they get a couple of boxes in, they pay money for it, and they have absolutely no idea as to what they're doing. That is where the danger lies. If I can give an example, if a backyard beekeeper, for argument's sake, came to our site at Gouritz, number one, you can't drive your vehicle onto the farm. We take you up to site. We supply the beekeeping equipment. We supply that and ensure that everything is sterilized and things like that, and we move it from there. We on the farm will offer courses that will train people correctly. We will have professionals coming in. We've already had the Agricultural Research Council on the farm that have identified that the farm is clear of AFB, and then from there we will expand the whole thing. But primarily for bee lovers, I would say to them, speak to your nurseries. Also on the internet, type in there and say to them, bee-friendly plants, and they'll show exactly what needs to be planted, because the industry is based on monoculture, and that in itself is weakening a bee. So if you can give a diversity of plants for them to live off, they will get a lot stronger and they'll be a lot healthier. And that's the concept that we work on down there, is giving them the diversity of the frameboss that they need so urgently to get their numbers back up and their strengths strong enough to be able to say, right, they're coming back to agriculture. We have to farm bees.
Devil, do you want to add anything there?
What we'd also like to try do is get agriculture itself involved, because in so many cases people they, like Greg says, they plant, it's monoculture. If they can actually start planting cover crops like apples, a hectare, 10% of your farm, plant buckwheat, plant lavender, plant rosemary, plants that actually flower for a long time through the year, also helping to sustain bees in the area. It's purely, if you look at apples, if you look at sunflowers, if you look at lucerne, it's a couple of weeks and then pack your stuff and bugger off.